Welcome. We're watching China again. Today we've got TEC versus BLG, actually having the wins and losses on the bottom of the screen too, which is kind of nice. Both in similar positions, but I'd say in very different types of groups. And the pistol is over before I can even sit down and get my breath. I had a right pick who casts events. For each of the regions, they do it individually, depending on the TO. For international events, there's like an international team. Feels like there's like a... It's sort of made like, oh yeah, global. Global's the one that makes the decisions, which make it sound like there's some sort of like Illuminati council that's making those decisions, but realistically it's like a couple of people. They're watching all of the regions, who's going to do the best job and stuff. Alright, both teams running fairly similar comps. The Fade versus the Silver. I do like Silver on this map, but I do think the Fade, a lot of teams played it initially and then moved away from it. And Breach. I think KO is better than Breach, but I don't like KO that much on this map either. And BLG have found two by just fighting for mid. I don't know why you'd necessarily play here when you're on like an anti-eco. I guess you have the one player that's lurking because there's no gun upgrade, right? It's not like they have a Vandal over here. They're just trying to do like an FPX buy. Oh my god, AC. You've actually just saved your team here. Because if he dies, it's a 1 versus however many. Favorite comp for Sunset? I don't know, really. I haven't seen anything that I'm like, this feels like it's the most foolproof way. Because I think Cypher's really strong in this map, but seeing a lot more Killjoy, I'm a little bit more like, maybe? But it might just be me like, because there's so many like B main plants, a lockdown against that would be really impactful. So I don't know if that's a little bit like, what's the word? Ideal world kind of thinking. Oh, because you can lock down B main, that means it's a perfect choice. No, not necessarily. Right, full buy now, at least for BLG. You've done quite a lot of damage, so this bonus isn't that great. Both teams trying to do some like stun aggressive play. But Abuo goes down. Abuo. Sunset Sage Believer, yeah. Stuff like... I'm a big fan of Sunset. Like, the B main stuff is pretty bad, but I think, like, if you fix this, you've got a really good map here. Because the variation in comps that you can run is superb. Especially for initiator players. Paper X comp has more success in this map. Yeah, but there's not a lot of sample size for it. And let's be honest, most people can't just take what Paper X is playing and make it successful. AC is not fucking losing today, is he? Good fight from YZ, but that's great damage done. AC's TP'd onto site. Smoked off CT, so he has a bit of time to work with. Paranoia is really good, but he's closed the distance. He's faked it. He's got the right reads, but he has to play safe. This is actually really nicely done from BLG. The Paranoia is throwing him off enough. He must have stepped, so these guys just here, crossfire. Don't do anything too risky. Saves the round a bit because it was a little bit messy. Like, especially when you got the stun coming across. This is just a little bit unlucky, I think, for Abo, but it was a really good defensive stun that comes in to like help. Said picked it up and improved it, yeah.
BLG 的长枪局还好是拿下了，但是 TEC 刚才上一分是奖励局，这一分我们可以看到阿博手里面马上终极技能要充能完毕了。对，还差2个点数。下段车出发。哎，两个人开始摆阵。
Got like a trap play like the stun, but the stun's been used on this side too.
位置很明显，王浩这是在帮队友做一个吸引。对。
So there's a lot of like counter stuns that are coming in for both sides. So use the stun on this side, and then as a response, TEC stunned across here. The flash is good. Camera's broken. I mean, actually, the way the TEC is playing this is great. This is stuff that I was, like, crying about watching, like, DFM and GE play in Sunset last week. Especially DFM, because DFM would just prod in mid, running out of time, and then going into B. But I like the TEC. If you're really not sure what to do on this map, find a utility, find the trap plays, clear as much of it as you can, then reset. You are starting to get a little bit low on time, but it is looking like a B executes on the cards. How good is Levius and whom did he replace? He replaced Bear. So it's like Bianca's IGLing again, I think, unless K-Knight's doing it. And how good is he? He's been BLG sub for time now. We haven't seen him play since like Evolution Stage 1, which honestly, off the top of my head, I don't remember much. Yeah, Abby's been playing a lot of different stuff. He's been doing really well, but like last series against DDG was the worst he performed, I think. Actually, really good round start to finish from TEC. I loved how they were like playing around it. I mean, RB was always kind of a flexible player anyway. The only reason why I didn't play more flex stuff with DRX is when you have somebody like Stacks doing the same sort of work. Yeah, China aim is comparable to the rest of the international leagues. I don't even think that like they're strategically behind. I don't think that this is like an all aim no brain region. I don't think the players are stupid. I just think there's a lot of stuff that they need to like work out themselves and how to play a map and what to try and exploit in condition that you can't teach. You have to just learn by doing. For me, it's the equivalent. You know when you like read those stories of like, this is a 100-year-old man and here's 100 tips on how to live your life, and you read some of them and you go, yeah, that seems pretty like general, I think I get it. And then you get a bit older and you start to understand them more and you're like, oh, I really get like why it's important to like go out in the morning under some sunlight and stuff like that. Like you can tell Chinese teams on how to like condition more and like play around the map and exploit it. And they're like, yeah, sure, but they won't get it until they play after a while and go, oh right, now this starts to make sense. Inexperienced, yeah, it's like it's inexperienced with playing each other and like having to deal with the mental side. But I don't think there's like something that's categorically wrong that needs to be fixed over time. It's almost like a penny dropping moment that I think, and hopefully what I think will happen is when we have international teams going to Shanghai, both these teams I don't imagine would play Master Shanghai. I don't think they're going to necessarily either make playoffs or qualify to be top 3, but I do think that they'd get a lot of scrims. Like we might see them scrimming against, I don't know, like at this rate, Foot and BBL, right? They'll be going for EMEA and Crew, for Christ's sake. Don't know what kind of tournament that's going to be. But like, China teams being able to scrim frequently against the best international teams would do them so much, and they'll go, oh, I see how like these guys are playing it now. Yeah, and the fact that like China get to scrim against Pacific a lot, which is handy, I guess. But I don't know if that does more harm than good. If BBL managed to make it to Shanghai, then I don't know what to expect from EMEA anymore. Keeps it interesting. But right, full buy, TEC of a lot of ultimates. Rolling Thunder, Hunter's Fury, Showstopper. Actually, stuff not being built up for BLG yet. This is where Sliggy would be going on a rant about like snowballing. BBL playing unbelievable, don't get it twisted. No, I mean, they're looking great. I was massively impressed with Gentlemates. I have not rated them at all in the slightest. But I was watching them more to watch Vitality, and I was like, oh my god, like, Gentlemates get it. There's just so much of you just watching it. It's like, I'm not seeing this from anybody else. And it's simple stuff. Like, especially Gentlemates' icebox. Oh, he just walks in. At least it's traded. I don't know how it's traded when it's got 2 players in the smoke. But post plants, the trip here, the Rolling Thunder coming out to buy a bit more time. Honestly, at this point, what can you do as BLG? Even if you manage to clear everybody, I don't think you're going to have enough time. I don't know if you save. I don't necessarily know it's that bad. Now you'd save. Because there's only 1 player alive and K-Knight stays. Alright, maybe a timeout is needed here. Good thing is that you got some big ultimates out of them. Showstopper, Rolling Thunder, and Hunter's Fury. Maybe using all 3 of them wasn't necessary at that point. But Billy but forced onto another eco now. It was a team that used the same comp as TEC. A lot of teams initially used it, but they moved away. I can find out though now that we're in a timeout. So Sunset, if we do it this way, team includes Fade, Reach. DRX, sorry, Evil Geniuses have run it. Koi have run it. Team Liquid have run it. 2 cars have run it. That's the big one. Yeah, Silver Breach is team secret. But a lot more teams are running Silver Breach anyway. Like Giant X have done it. Team Secret have been running it a lot. Loud have kind of been running, like Silver Breach at least, but they've obviously been running Viper and Phoenix and stuff like that. But yeah, I guess it's Team Secret that's been running it well. But I think that's more Jesse Vash being really good on Silver. And specifically anti-stratting people on Silver. Like, he has so many shock dart lineups for trips and stuff. I don't see anybody else do it. What apps do you use to check those stats? Running back mostly. For China, because there's no API, I have to do it all like manually. Boxing World Champion. Is it Zhao Ximing? Or is it like Sao? I mean, why has he managed to get one with a stinger from distance and then another one with a stun nade? Oh, don't overdo this, Billy. Worked out there at least, but you don't want to give them, what was it, a 2 versus 5 at a point? Why isn't there API for China? Is that why that's why there isn't VLR ratings? That's why there's no data other than the stuff that's on VLR is literally somebody there working, putting in based off the scoreboard. And the reason why there's no API is because there's no edge point, I think. This isn't like a VCT Riot problem. This is like a China, like they don't want to share their data kind of problem. So the likelihood of us getting API access to China in the future, I'd say is pretty low. But you never know, especially with Shanghai Masters happening this year. Maybe there's something that can be done. Because I think last week it said, oh, I can't remember which play it was. It said that they had 97 deaths in a map because somebody put it in wrong. We'll get VLR ratings in Master Shanghai because that's like an American company coming in. Actually, that's a good question. I don't know. Maybe not. I imagine for someone like that, they'd get a chance. Yeah, good fight for BLG. They used the Paranoid to buy themselves a bit of time, but there's still a late lurk in here. It is being keenly watched. I mean, Kawaii has been here each time. The nade's a little bit awkward. trying to force Kawhi out of here, but he stays and then pushes out and then goes down. But the spike's been planted. Rolling Thunder's going to come in over here. Great satchel in. Was there a flash as well? Because I think both of the players just like, all right, we're dead. They literally didn't react at all to why is he just jumping in. You know that video of the dog that's been given like the birthday cake and it's just staring straight through it as if it's having some sort of like PTSD flashback? That's what happened to these players, I swear. Oh, they tried to like do a little bit of a crossfire, but they couldn't get it. Can you turn up the stream a little bit? I can try. There we go. Yeah, RB. No, RB didn't ult. K-Knight just ulted. There's still a full buy for TEC here. They can keep pushing in, and they find that first kill onto YZ. I guess fighting for this space more, a fade is like better, just to seize and then a stun. Because God forbid, we've seen so many teams like actively fight for this space in all of the regions and just get ran over. And then they just lose all of the fight anyway, reset. You got the lurk for Kawhi. And then he clears him, nice. They can sometimes scrim against APAC teams right now. I mean, that's all that they scrim. Yeah, I think Neural Theft, with how cheap it is definitely very like impactful. Especially with there being less Sky overall because she got nerfed. I see what these guys are doing in the middle of the round. YZ is a showstopper. Again, TEC, the one thing that's been going really well for them so far is just the A main executes. And BLG actually making the call to move Kawhi over here, which is really nice. So far, this has been like... I've really actually enjoyed watching both these teams play this map so far. Some good ideas, some good variation, adjustments. Right, Nightfall's used to clear one. Showstopper's used. It's not going to be heard mostly. And this is a really good retake. See if he can do more damage, because the money is kind of awkward for BLG, at least getting towards the end of this half. Who's favored in this match, BLG or TEC? It's a really good question because I don't... Oh, I didn't do my pick'ems. Oh, I didn't do my pick'ems this week. Yeah, I think for this one, I'd probably say BLG. But I think both these teams are struggling from the same thing of just... They're so inconsistent, we don't know how good they are. But I think the BLG making the move of like dropping out Bear and bringing in Levius, I'm all for it. Speaking of which, Levius has gone down. TEC have just... They were playing around the map, they were clearing the utility and stuff. Now they're just going for straight executes and hoping that like ultimates would win out. Like they're not playing a B main post plant, which is... Yeah, interesting. They're spreading out, Rolling Thunder used off of the stun. Not towards CT, but you have like a good crossfire here from Abo and Lockham. That's a fantastic flash. Doesn't matter anyway. TEC are like, we don't want to play for B main post plants. We want to have fun. We're not even going to bother with it. BLG are only favorites if you haven't watched the season. In this one, I don't know, really? Like, I don't... Who... Like, TEC didn't really show much last week, but it was against DDG. They lose against DRG, who, like, are pretty decent at the moment. But I think Billy could give DRG a run for the money, still. I think it's, like, impossible to really say for certain. But I've not been, even when TEC's been playing well, I've not been massively impressed with them as a team. It's usually just RB farming for them. Great haunt. Great retake so far again. He gets sprayed through from RB. Well, this is the round where just RB is just going to ace, isn't he? Oh my god, especially when stuff like this happens. Alright.
变个是拿着一把短炮躲在烟里面，想要看对面会不会钻烟。但是在烟散的一瞬间的话，他是被对手给打掉。上半场5-7，两边对于这个分数都是可以接受。
Does EDG look so much better with the new rules? Oh yeah, for sure. Like massively better. Like. I think it's easy from the outside, especially if you've not been watching much China, to kind of go, all right, well, FPX and EDG didn't do that well at Madrid, and they're sort of stomping in China, so it means that everybody else is kind of bad. I think it really does miss on how much better FPX and EDG look after going out of Madrid. Like, they've both changed roles, they've both come up with a lot of comps. They're not afraid to experiment, but they're also not afraid to play meta stuff when it's appropriate and do really good on that. New roles. Smoggy's on main controller, Kung Kung's on duelist full-time instead of like KO and all that. And that change in itself, just having Smoggy on a role where he can use utility and be supportive, but also can just sort of do what Tens has been doing. It's a really good sign. Yeah, because I was talking to like other people about it, really. You know, just generally like with like flat chat adjacent stuff, I suppose, of just for China, there's not really that much interest in it at the moment. I don't think the Madrid really helped the case of the region. But all in all, I think that it is crazy how much better they look and also how good Trace have been. That I think sending those 3 teams gives gives China like a good shot of actually like surprising. You see Sen qualifying for Shanghai? I haven't really watched much Americas just because of the time difference. Do they have a distinct style as a region yet, or still developing an identity? It's a good question, because I think one of the main identity points for China initially, at least I say initially, but like from watching them from last year, a lot of attack hopping. But to be fair, we haven't seen much opping at all in all of the regions, I feel, in comparison to like last year.
王浩哲走1号身位，而且手上有踩雷飞剑，他可以去破你的半线，再听近点有没有半线的声音？听到了，应该是听到半线的声音了，但这个半线能跳过去。
I could definitely see Trace going into an international event and just get bodied. I think the fact that their first international event is in their own home country, that would help, as opposed to like going to somewhere like Madrid. Maybe people really underestimate how fast China is improving. Yeah, I was about somebody say, like, yeah, maybe like paying attention to China more is a thing for next year. And I was a bit like, I feel like you're gonna regret saying that. But it is kind of frustrating, I suppose, of like somebody that's been watching all of China throughout kickoff. Like, yeah, I see them at Madrid. Even like the qualifying games for Madrid, some teams performed a lot worse than they had been. Like Trace played pretty badly, I think, against DDG. Like, I feel like the whole region has just been written off more than it realistically should be. Unless it's Tyloo, in which case, yeah, fuck him, I can't be bothered. Who's winning this map? TEC have been looking exceptional on it. The fact that BLG picked it, though, is really concerning. Still the same top 3 picks then? Yeah, it doesn't help that JDG aren't really competing with them.
非常快啊！
他这是主动出击嘛，他听到阿波一响枪，立马就从眼里面抢了。不管怎么样，这就是 RB 的打法，毕竟作为曾经 DRX 兜底的神。
Wolves and JDG on the run too? I wouldn't say so.
放了。
TEC were massive underdogs according to bookies. Depends at what point. For like somewhere like kickoff and stuff, yeah, absolutely.
来检查一下对手的财报情况，好像没有什么大假。
But I'm not.
你手上就输了。
I don't know what it is about TEC as a team that I'm not necessarily sold on yet. I think it's just Abo IGL in. Like duelist IGL, I just can't get my head around.
然后再加上上一分毕竟是没有安装爆能器的嘛。
对。
目前对于 BLG 来说，自己的
How is the Rare Atom IGL doing now?
都是朝着痛处去打。
You mean for JDG?
这张地图看起来
YH Chen has been playing okay.
就上一次对
Some bad maps here or there, but I think they look better with him than they did without, that's for sure.
地图弱肉之城，我觉得目前
Wonder why he even wants to do that. Probably because it's just his most like comfortable thing.
里边出现的比较多。这张地图更多打的就是一套。
I think TEC are probably one of the teams that do try to up a bit more. Again, we don't really have like stats and data to be able to see how often teams and players are opping, but I feel off of an eye test that we're just seeing it a lot less. This is looking like a TEC pulse.
有些队伍会在这张地图拿出无锋底细，盖可加贤者。
Have you seen the disparity between NA regions? I think if I had to sum up like what can't really see it with this color. You know what? Seeing as Sliggy's not streaming today, let's take his purple. So we got Americas. Or at least he's not streaming China by the looks. You got Americas, you got EMEA. You've got Pacific. And then you got China. What do I think each of these regions are the best at? I think China, like mechanical, just aim. Like mechanics in China, I think if it was an ISO ult between all of the regions, I think it would be China teams that would come out on top because their aim is crazy. Granted, I think that their positioning and decision making is a bit rough. Pacific, I think it's like skill expression. So what Paper X are really good at, like being able to play Raze and do crazy stuff with her, and like theory of like to do stuff. EMEA, I think it's just general theory. I think that they have a really good idea on how to play the game and how to use utility, how to manipulate the map. And I think America's is like execution. Not execution as in like executing onto sites, but taking mechanics, taking skill expression, taking theory, and then actually implementing it into the server is something that America's I think is better at than any other region.
那现在两个人的位置差不多确定了，这里开始有山盟地线，而且 Levius 的位置是已经被打断过的，在抽脚，纪律委员告诉了对手不起甲，那就是这样的。
再切鬼魅，阿伯很顺利的完成了3杀，并且打了一个完美团灭出来，
并且自己这边没有怎么掉甲，也没有掉枪。
他的踩雷飞剑加蟒杀再加鬼魅啊，都收。
Turkey diff China in an ISO. At this rate, yeah. Can't disagree with that with how good like Foot and BBL looked yesterday. But I just think that mechanics is something that they're already even with the best international teams at. Eventually they're going to surpass it. Because I don't think the players know how to turn off. Right, so BLG have kind of been hounded, like losing both pistols. This is their bonus, and already TEC have just kind of crunched onto them with the stun, the nade, 5 people pushing. They're gonna flawless bonus at this rate. There's a showstopper as well, which they can save for like later on. Owl Drone, Flash, Levius. Getting a couple more kills there is good. I mean, okay. Oh, he just whiffs the last one. Against Derby with a ghost. Where's Yeman now? He's on a tier 2 team in Korea. Can't remember the name of it because it's a very generic name. But I think it's gone quite well. I think they made playoffs, but I don't think they made maybe top 4. Hey Jack, kind of game's been good. Long Shim, yeah, that's it.
两边一起夹击，这波BLG没有防到，可能要叫暂停了。毕竟现在已经变成了一个5比10，可能要放赛点。
长枪局没拿下，这一分没经济了，然后比分可能要被体坛再次扩大。果然叫出了暂停。现在体坛10比5分的一个领先。
Yeman is a door-to-door ramen salesman now. I wonder if him and Val Analysis are going to get back together again.
阿伯能把自己玩一会省下来的话，后面就会变成一个用自己的
What happened to Wolves, and why do you think Tyler was so bad? I think the problem with Wolves is that they still are, because they're a team that were of individual players. There's no core there. You take a player from Nip, you take a player from Attacking Soul, you take a player from Weibo, and like you just have to kind of like put them all together. And role wise, they were still working out stuff, comp wise and stuff. So kickoff, they had so much to do with so little time. And then at the start of stage 1, they had to play twice in the first week. So if we had to see, hey Hazza, if we had to see Wolves play twice, like this week or next week towards the end, I think they would be doing a lot better. And I think they're like Wolves now are in a good spot. The only issue is like recently they've had to run into both FPX and Trace. So they've just been like losing, like playing up against a team like TEC in the first week. If Wolves play TEC now, I think Wolves beat TEC. But honestly, I would have said that BLG would beat TEC here, but I feel like the veto is something that's maybe backfired massively for BLG today. Oh my god, Levius. Go on, win this clutch. Give us some Billy magic. Yes, nice. That's actually sick from Levius. Bears on the side of the stage just crying. It's over.
是的，用自己的大身位去规避了 RB 这个背身想要换鬼魅点他的一个情况。
但是其实没有 RB 就没有这个残局啊 ，RB 在点内接的太多了 ，RB 先打一个，然后再聚准一波 B 位置，再摘头皮。
Actually, really nice shots from RB.
RB 真的对于自己的枪法绝。
I don't know what he was doing there though. When you watch it from Levius's POV, oh, the little dodge as well to like miss the recon.
不过现在 TEC 也依然有钱，而且自己也有终极技能。不过经过刚才这分之后
，That's why Levius is playing. I would imagine. So BLG had a different head coach at the start of this year. They brought in Bear, but then they got Bale as a head coach, and I think Bianc was the IGL like at Champs and stuff. And then at a point, I think Bianc with like coach changes and stuff like that, he was like, I don't want to do it anymore. Like it was affecting his personal performance too much, I think is what he generally said. So they tried K-Knight on the IGL, didn't work, so they got him Bear. But now that Bale's the coach, it just feels like maybe Bianc's like, I feel better about IGLing now, but I can't IGL on Initiator. But Bear, despite having like good mid-round calling, good IGLing, his stats were atrocious. And I know people would go like, oh, well, like you analysts say that you shouldn't be a scoreboard Steven. I think there is a point where if you're barely making 10 kills a map, that there might be a problem. Oh no, the haunt. Kawaii. AC's in. The Aftershock misses, so they're still able to plant. AC kind of gets flashed there. At least he's traded. And then RB sort of follows up a little bit afterwards. So what's wrong with Tyloo? Oh, good God. Tyloo last week, they were a team that hadn't won a series, that won a couple of maps, and yet throughout all of it, you have a player like HFMI who was fantastic on Attacking Soul. You have a player like that is performing really well because you moved him over to a Sentinel role. You moved him over to like Killjoy and stuff, and he was thriving in it. Top 10 ACS player despite not winning a series. They move him to Initiate and he just starts inting. I'm pretty sure it was weaponized incompetency. That he was like just sending it straight inting, like just looking for fights and lurking as a Sova to just try to get the coaches to move him off that role and back onto Sentinel.
而现在走在最前面的 USMT， 他想要拿到首杀，但是毕竟是把封4。 现在 TEC 就是铁蛋太之前，他是直接撤到了后点位，给你打。
There was just some infuriating rounds to watch from them. And what makes it worse is they won. Whose map is this? Is Billy's. You can kind of see it in the top. BLG there, TEC there. This is Sunset. This is Bind.
前点慢晃。 Canada 走在了队伍的比较靠后的一个位置，给队友打技能，然后队友拉枪线，然后再自己拉。
Yeah, because Bear and AC were on the same team. That's actually a good point. Yeah, we never got to see AC versus Bear, the Enter players. Maybe it is just that like Bear, I like trialed for the team IGL and it worked really well. But it's a very untested. Is Levius ruined it for himself? Oh my god, Abo is actually just frying here. Maybe going for more with the classic would have been a stretch, but at least he gets traded again. What's your thoughts of RB on Initiator over Sentinel? I think that he can play any role, and I think if you want to have a player that has as much experience on the stage as RB, you want to put him on the hardest roles to play, which is basically flex.
BLG 命悬一线，而体坛，哦
Oh my god, Levius.
确实有点难办啊。毕竟正义它一发与一发之间的一个
开火箭局，
对，开火箭局实在太大了。
是的
Cosmetic stun.
太慢了。
Showstopper execute something that we haven't seen really Billy do that much off the rip, right? And he has found absolutely nothing. Oh, and Lockham finds a kill onto Levius beforehand. How much damage? He didn't do that much to Bianca, actually. He was close enough to sort of seed him from the near site, so I thought he might have done a lot more. Could have killed him. No rolling thunder this time because they just used it recently. He's still sorry guys. I feel like I'm doing a really poor job. Rolling thunder on the attack though. Good peek off the back of it. One more flash. And it's used perfectly onto Abo. Don't give RB away back in. Alright, 3 people facing him is nice. Why the Chinese teams don't have a bundle of their own? Because it's coming out around Shanghai. The teams for China, like, remember last year when teams were announced for the initial like leagues? It was like August, right? August, September of 2022. Last year, the teams for China were decided in December. They had like 6 weeks worth of prep to get stuff done. Yeah, and we also did a late ascension too. Why do we see Chinese teams scouting ranked demons? They are. I think tier 2 for China this year, it's very complicated, it's hard to explain, so I'm not going to try. But it's probably going to be a form of like farming region. But I guess it's kind of disappointing that there's like a few, like RNG seems to be done with Valorant, Weibo seems to be done with Valorant. Even like some of the orgs that were in for Ascension, 16 Gaming, did they have a team? 4 Angry Men, did they have a team? Attacking Soul, I haven't heard anything about what they're doing. Nip, they seem to be done. The only ones that are fully dedicated to tier 2 it feels is that it's Rare Atom. 17 Gaming, you mean? Yeah. Some of these flashes actually from BLG are coming in and connecting, but I don't know if that's more the flashes being good or China teams just not very good at reacting to breach flashes at this point. They haven't got that muscle memory ingrained. They hear just a whoop and they're just instinctively looking away. Paranoia cutting across. What are you doing, AC? What are you doing? 4 chances now.
对于标记来说，还有4个赛点可以追。
感觉要叫暂停了，但是目前这个4个赛点，体坛的容错率还是比较大的。
体坛容错率稍微大了一些，而且现在对于他们来说，如果自己
Wasn't there IGL and import? Rare Atoms was. Tier 2 you can have 2 imports. For the main league you can only have 1. Which I think is the same everywhere.
可以稍微放一放。
I think there's a command for TEC about it's a mix of Mandarin and English.
RB 经济比较好，起了一把小甲数位，其他人都是正义。
4把正义加1把数位，远距离要去跟你直架，但是现在这一分的体坛，他们在第一时间 A1 没有吃到信息的同时，
That's kind of dumb, no? What, they did speak in a mix of languages?
那有可能会5个人抱团打 B， 所以体坛立马就形成了一个重守中路和 B 区的趋势。
I mean, most EMEA teams speak in English despite it not being their main language.
回到了一个重中路防守，小到的话就是让阿波一个人看。
What you said about imports? For tier 2, it's 2 imports. For tier 1, it's 1 import.
就是原点被点掉了。
哎，这是站在了一个。
Pretty sure.
这是thân子位。AC 点到一个之后
I know Autumn's playing in tier 2, but I don't know if they know.
低包的时候，其实阿伯随时可以装载完焰火的，马上就是一个推黑拉出来，但阿伯他位置被发现了。RB 打掉 Knet， 现在 BLG 变成了一个2打3，而基点这个人便可接了一个两个全接住了。
I mean, a lot of damage was still done for this anti-eco. RB, again, if this was like week 1 RB, he'd be winning these with his eyes closed. And he's 20-9, like he is actually just demolishing.
UCMT 也是成功的绕了一下 RB 的侧身。
现在距离加时还剩3局，BLG 他已经追了3局回来，不知道剩下3局对于他来说会不会像前3局。
Good shot actually.
这个前面是因为
From AC.
血量，这个是有一个打了一些血量，
他的血量已经到正义的斩杀线之上了，一发子弹足以致命。
Yeah, like not Chinese players.
非常的稳健，
感觉没什么必要。 场上的选手可以自己调整，而且手上这一分又有晚焰火，叫暂停很有可能会让 BLG
free chances. Alright, I'm not very good at this. I'm not.
体坛已经快到一个临界点了，就是他
I think in the breaks he'll try to answer as many questions as you have, because I know there's a lot of people here from Sliggy stream and stuff. Or just might be watching this for the like. I guess spam me with that. Where are you guys? Where you guys usually? What am I even asking?
给了一根半线，给了半线之后往后撤，对手没有破半线。
Is this your first time watching? And if so, would you usually be watching Sliggy watch China at this time?
现在他已经让一个人慢慢摸过来了。这里 RB 之所以走得慢，是因为他没有中路太多的一个信息。
OK， 我们用烧声无人机清理一下 AY 的位置，好像没有。
I'm here for all of the tech games.
那现在这一分的 BLG 要选择给你慢打中路这点。
Hello, Avalanche.
空了，很久没有打过中路了。
这个进攻位散了之后，他们就会慢摸，把这个半线破掉。
Trip's broken. 40 seconds here. It's a good point to reset though for BLG. You've actually got a load of utility out of them and a showstopper. The fact that you clear this and only lose one is pretty big. And our AC, quaking in the boots. Or maybe not. Paranoia, ooh, is really nice. It's going to TP right into this corner. They would assume that he'd TP out, so the fact that he's gone into here could catch everything. Kawhi, now 2 of them coming through market. Yosemite fighting for his life. Really good team play. That peak isn't necessarily that great into AC, because again, they weren't expecting him to be that close. So K-Knight, really good trade. Oh my god.
这打到了12比10，还有2分。
Sliggy refugee, yeah. I mean, I think it's kind of cool that like Sliggy's been watching on the days that he can, like Friday and stuff. It is a bit of a shame that it clashes so much with Pacific, but I don't blame Pacific and China being on at the same times. They're both regions, so you know. They want to be on at the weekend, right? Because that's where the majority of people are going to be. Heck still have 2 timeouts.
甚至如果让对方拿到12比11的话，有很大的机会直接追到12比12平。
现在体坛能叫的暂停调整战术，大概率就是让队友去控中路，或者打一些中路非常规。因为过去几分丢，其实都是因为中路配合着市场对手的一个反清，把它给清了出去，推到了后点位。
Surely they close out after the timeout. Wouldn't they be back on an eco at this point, or have they got enough losers bonus where they have a full buy?
或者说你防守的协同，你防守协同永远会出现一边在打，另外一边在规避，你两边不是打同步的。
I think it's awesome that you guys are working together on his VOD channel. Lets you keep up with both regions easily. No, thank you. Like, it's been fun to do. Like, I think streaming and especially watch partying, it's quite intimidating when you're starting because you know you are effectively competing with people. So the fact that like I don't feel like I'm competing with Sliggy. Because like I've done YouTube for however long, it's a competition for attention, right? So to be able to like work with people instead of praying for their downfall, I guess to an extent, is really nice. Yeah, TEC don't really have much of a buy here, but they have a Rolling Thunder and almost a... I mean, Yosemite is brave to be doing this. He's playing at such a pace, too. They're like, yeah, it's clear, guys. No, he's in the smoke. And Yosemite did all of that before these two players are in a position. Oh man, why is he? I haven't really been keeping track of like stats, like kill KDs. Yeah, he just sent it. It was literally like the sort of Scooby-Doo running noise, like. Neural theft and he's like, I have got a timing. Watch play with multiple people is more fun to watch. Yeah, like. But I guess like Sliggy's watch party is typically very unique because it is so analysis focused that I feel like I almost end up distracting him. Ah, it's like 6 rounds in a row. Stun, found nothing. There's so many ultimates, BLG. Please don't let this be a fake comeback. Not when you have all of this. You've Nightfalled in. Rolling Thunder's come across. Hunter's Fury's coming too. Is it tagged onto anybody? Yeah, why is he gone down? Why is he went down with a showstopper question mark? Oh no. Still a Razor, Breach ult. Wait, I got really confused with the OBS then. I was like, it's on the defense. Like, no, it's just got used. Knight's got his though.
而且这一分，王浩哲依靠自己的生命代价拼出了对方狂烈之怒和惊雷卷地，我觉得能够让剩下4名队员进点顺利一些。
I think for watch parties, ultimately it depends on what you want. You know, there's a lot of really good, entertaining people. Like I think Shanks is hilarious to watch for one. But if I want to like watch the game analytically, you know, Sliggy I'm watching a lot of. Anders is great as well. Anders is really funny to watch, but we can talk about that in a second. Oh my, there's the RB. Oh, for Christ's sake, BLG. There's the most Billy silly thing that can happen. Of course. Good comeback in the end, but ended up being like a pretty good timeout, I think, from TEC just beforehand. Must admit the TEC blocked that rush of BLG very well. Yeah, I think it's just... Did it tag... that's a good question, actually. We can't really watch it because we're watching it on Douyu. So let's just grab it up on YouTube. I'm wondering if the tag... Did it tag the Omen here? Did it tag the Omen here? So when Bianca moves to this side and then baits up with a TP, Bianca effectively just makes sure that Wisey dies here. Oh no. I would avoid watching on Twitch because the quality, I'll show you. So the quality here is like pretty much good. Like a lot of the China like broadcasting sites do like as close to lossless broadcasting as possible, which is crazy. On YouTube you have 1080p. If we go over to Twitch and we go to this, the max it is 720. And you're like, why is that? That's kind of weird. Twitch doesn't really exist in China. And when you have a lot of streaming, like Bilibili, for example, they have their own streaming platform. They want people to watch on those platforms as opposed to anything like Twitch. So I would avoid, like, if you're watching me on Twitch, it's fine, because this is a full speed kind of thing. Yogscast follower. I live in Bristol. I've like done stuff with Yogscast. I'll stop recording this though for Sliggy for the first